Christ Lisbet. Why does Christ say to strive to enter through the narrow door to be saved?
Christ insists that you enter through the narrow door because she does not want you to be lost. However, the message that she presents to men for their salvation is perceived as difficult and bothersome, not because they cannot fulfill it, but because they prefer the wide door through which many enter to enjoy the temporary delights of the earthly mind. And spacious is that road which leads to perdition. The men who do not receive my message are not interested and don't even bother to try to enter through the narrow door, because in their limited human understanding, it also doesn't seem logical to them to listen to a woman who affirms to be their only salvation, since they are waiting for the fictitious arrival of a man with supernatural powers. What these men and women are doing is stealing God's tithes and offerings by deceiving others with the absurd excuse of making them wait for something mystical that will never happen, enabling them to continue usurping the place that only belongs to Christ to keep their dishonest gains. Rightly so, God the Father and Christ laugh at them and mock them, as it says in Psalms 2:4. The message of the beauty of God's holiness that I, Christ Lisbet, speak today is the same one that Christ has always transmitted, as it says in Matthew 7:13-14. Enter through the narrow door, for wide is the door and broad is the road that leads to perdition, and many enter through it. But narrow is the door and small the road that leads to life, and few are those who find her. That is why I have repeated again and again and remain firm in telling you that you must accept the truth and the fact that Christ is not the Son of God, but the wife of God, and that not everyone is a child of God, as the religious leaders have deceived people into believing. I, Christ Lisbet, do this because the only way to become true children of God the Father and Mother, men must be created in our image and likeness, in God's immortality, and only I, Christ herself, and no one else can accomplish this in mortals. Only those who find the narrow door and cling to her are the lovers of the truth and the true worshipers of God the Father and of Christ. Although the message I convey may seem like madness and impossible to accept for those who insist on believing that Christ is the Son of God, the truth is that this is the only path to the promised land, and only by accepting this truth that I speak today is that you can be saved. That is why I, Christ Lisbet, reiterate the importance of entering through the narrow door, which is through accepting me and my message. And you must do everything I tell you in time and off time, because I am the only salvation to stop humanity from self-destructing and dying. Amen.